So could you explain to our listeners what is PurpleAsia, because they don't know what this industry is, and then how do you get started in this anyway?
Right, sure. So that goes back to various failures. So I started out in the travel and tourism industry. I started in London with a company called Trail Finders, and I followed my family. My father was a CEO of a multinational property developer in Bangkok. And so I spent a lot of time in Asia as a youngster. And so I had a hankering for Asia. And I moved to Bangkok and set up a travel company in 1993 in a partnership with the Central Group, the Central Retail Group. And that was fine until the currency crash in 97. So there's failure number one. So I struggled on for another year or so there. And then my brother at the time was in Vietnam and brought me here with another travel company. And then we had the Twin Towers. So the terrorist attack in the US, our biggest market at that time was the US. So that disaster killed off that market completely. And I was left with brand new twin daughters in Saigon with nothing to do. So a friend of mine in Bangkok told me that I had reasonably good taste, that I should get involved in branding. So at that time, I was involved really in sales and marketing. I was a director of sales and marketing. This friend had a company. Initially, we were partners for about 2 weeks, and then we decided to go separate ways and do our own thing.
So failure number three.
So failure number three, I guess. We're still friends after 30 years, so I guess that's not so much of a failure. So I started out actually really doing more on the marketing side. At that time in Saigon, I was helping whoever sort of needed the help with marketing, brochure design, development. So I was using freelance design services. So my first paying customer actually was Saigon Children's Charity. And we did a flyer come poster for them in 2002. And then gradually I started to do more and more brand positioning, brand design, brand identity work, particularly with the hospitality and tourism industry. And so we got involved in branding for hospitality management companies, projects themselves, F&B, all the things attached to hospitality branding. And then that morphed into real estate. So as I said, my father was involved in real estate, my brother was involved in real estate, and the real estate market started booming in Vietnam. And we started working more and more with real estate projects here in Vietnam. And now we're kind of going back a little bit the other way towards hospitality. And specializing really in hospitality, food and beverage. Although we still do all the other things. We have big real estate projects in Vietnam and across Asia. But food and beverage we're doing now globally, where we develop brand concepts, entire concepts for F&B outlets in hotels and resorts around the world. So what we do is we look for, we're approached generally by a group like Accor, Intercon, Hilton, somebody like that, or one of the big real estate companies. So our big clients here, Refico, Hong Kong Land, Keppel Land, Capital Land, those sorts of guys. And they will come with a project and they will say, okay, we need to find what section of the market this appeals to, and then we need to really establish the brand positioning, the messaging, and more the brand experience that goes around that, and how we deliver that at every brand touch point. So what in the old days we would call brand identity, meaning logos and design systems and taglines and language. Now it's much more than that. It's much more about actual tangible experiences, culture development at each touch point. So that goes into then employer branding. And so we tend to focus on the upstream part of finding that territory, creating new brands. But once we're on board, our clients generally like us to deliver that. So we do everything that's involved in that. So we develop websites, we make brochures, we do advertising campaigns, we do some digital marketing, we do some events, everything to deliver that brand, basically. So that's a very long answer. The single word answer is I do branding.
Okay, but it's more the upstream branding.
Yes, correct. So that for me is where branding belongs, and it's an interesting discussion. It's one that we have with our clients all the time. Is that a lot of, particularly in developing markets like Vietnam, a lot of CEOs think that branding is marketing. In fact, branding is not marketing. Branding comes long before marketing. So branding, marketing, sales. We focus our energy more on the branding end of that. It crosses over into marketing, and then the marketing crosses over into sales. So in the real estate market, for example, we are doing more and more what I would call go-to-market services, which includes all of that whole journey. However, the focus for PurpleAsia traditionally has always been on the front end of that, the branding